Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about regret. Regret is a funny thing. It doesn't show up right away. No, no, no. Regret takes its time. It creeps up slowly. It hits when the distractions fade, when the fun is over, when the so-called better options turn out to be nothing but smoke and mirrors. That's when it hits him. And you have the power to make that regret hit even harder, but not by begging, not by chasing, not by proving your worth to someone who didn't recognize it in the first place. You make him regret leaving by leveling up so much that he doesn't even recognize the woman he walked away from. You make him regret by stepping into your power, by moving so gracefully in your own lane that he has no choice but to sit in his own mess and wonder, did I just lose the best thing that ever happened to me? See, a man might leave thinking he's got options, but what he doesn't realize is you were the table, the chair, the meal, and the candlelight all in one. You were the blessing, and he treated you like you were just another option. But here's the secret. When you apply these three things, silence, self-worth, and success, 99% of men will regret leaving you. Silence, when he walks away, let him go. No calls, no texts, no "I miss you" messages, because your absence will speak louder than words. Self-worth, know your value. A queen doesn't chase, she attracts. The moment you stop looking back is the moment he starts looking for you. Success, whatever broke you, build from it. Level up in ways that make his jaw drop. Become the woman he wished he had appreciated when he had the chance. And let me tell you something else. By the time he realizes his mistake, by the time he figures out that no one else compares, you will have already moved on. You will have outgrown the version of yourself that once cried over someone who didn't see your worth. So the next time a man thinks he can walk away from you without consequences, smile, because what he doesn't know is that the regret is coming. And when it does, oh, it's going to hit him hard. Now go, live, thrive, and watch the regret unfold from a distance, because you were never the one who lost. He was. Mic drop. Regret is the price of losing a good woman. But here's the thing. Most men don't realize what they had until it's no longer theirs. They take your kindness for granted, thinking it will always be there. They assume your loyalty is a given, your presence a permanent fixture in their lives, until one day you're not there anymore. And that's when it happens. That's when regret sets in. A man will walk away thinking he's making the right decision, convincing himself there's something better out there. Maybe he got too comfortable. Maybe he thought he could find another woman like you, someone who loves him, supports him, nurtures him the way you did. Maybe he wanted freedom, thinking he'd be happier without the commitment, without the responsibility of having someone as rare as you in his life. But what he doesn't understand is that the love of a good woman is not something you stumble upon every day. See, people always think the grass is greener on the other side. They believe there's always something better waiting for them just around the corner. But what they fail to realize is that the grass is only green where you water it. And when you were in his life, you were the one nurturing the relationship, pouring into him, bringing warmth, depth, and substance. He didn't see it then, but he will. Oh, he will. Because here's what happens. When a good woman leaves, her absence is felt deeply. At first, he might feel free, relieved even. He's enjoying the single life, entertaining distractions, thinking he made the right choice, but time has a way of revealing the truth. Those temporary highs fade. The excitement of something new wears off. And slowly, he starts to see the difference. The difference between a woman who truly cared for him and those who are just passing through. The difference between someone who had his back no matter what and someone who's only around for convenience. And that's when it hits him. It hits him when he's alone with his thoughts. When he scrolls through his phone at night and realizes the one person who always checked on him, who always made him feel loved, is no longer there. It hits him when he's going through something difficult and instinctively wants to call you, only to remember that he can't. It hits him when he sees you thriving without him, glowing, moving forward, completely unbothered. That's the moment he realizes he lost something valuable, but regret doesn't come with a rewind button. By the time he understands what he lost, it's usually too late. Because a truly good woman, she doesn't wait around for someone to figure out her worth. She doesn't sit in misery, hoping he'll come back. No, she heals, she grows, she elevates, and by the time he's looking back, she's already too far ahead. Now, don't get me wrong, some men will try to come back once they realize their mistake. They'll test the waters, send a "hey, how you been" text, hoping you'll still be where they left you. But a good woman who's found her power doesn't entertain half-hearted attempts. She knows that a man who couldn't appreciate her when he had her doesn't deserve her now that she's stronger, wiser, and more confident in herself. And that's why regret is the price of losing a good woman. Because nothing haunts a man more than realizing he let go of something he'll never find again. Your absence is more powerful than your presence. See, when you're always available, always reaching out, always giving, a man gets used to it. He assumes you'll always be there. He assumes your energy, your love, and your loyalty are permanent fixtures in his life. And because he's so used to your presence, he doesn't stop to appreciate it. He doesn't stop to think, what if one day she's not here anymore? But the moment you remove yourself, the moment you stop checking in, stop texting, stop calling, stop showing up, that's when he feels it. That's when the silence gets loud. At first, he might not notice. He's busy, distracted. He thinks she'll reach out eventually. She always does. Days go by, then a week, then two. Suddenly there's a shift. The comfort of knowing you're always there starts to fade. That little voice in his head starts whispering, why hasn't she called? Did she move on? And that's when he starts feeling something he didn't expect. Uncertainty. See, men are wired to chase. They're wired to want what they feel they can't have. But when a woman is constantly available, constantly reminding him of her presence, there's no urgency, no need to reflect, no reason to miss her. But when she disappears, when her energy is no longer accessible, that's when his mind starts racing. That's when he realizes just how much space she occupied in his life. And that's the power of absence. Because when you leave a void, a man has to sit with himself. He has to sit with the reality of his choices. And no distraction, no party, no new fling, no casual conversation can replace what he lost. He may try to fill that space with temporary fixes, but nothing feels the same because your presence was unique. Your energy was one of a kind. He starts remembering the little things, how you made him feel, how you supported him, how you loved him in a way no one else has. He replays moments in his mind, conversations you had, the way you used to look at him, the way your presence made his life better. And as he's sitting there, realizing all of this, there's only one thought running through his mind. I messed up. But by then, something even more powerful has happened. You've changed. You see, the reason your absence is so powerful isn't just because it makes him miss you. It's because it gives you space to grow, to heal, to step into your own power. Because instead of wasting your energy proving your worth to someone who didn't appreciate it, you pour that energy into yourself. You start glowing differently, walking differently, living differently. And by the time he realizes what he lost, by the time he gathers the courage to reach out, you're not the same woman he left. You don't need his validation. You don't need his presence. Because you've learned the most important lesson of all, your absence is your power. And a man will only realize your worth when he feels the weight of losing you. The best revenge is evolution. Heartbreak has a way of breaking you down, making you question yourself, your worth, your choices. It makes you wonder, was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? But let me tell you something. Those are the wrong questions. Because the truth is, it was never about you not being enough. It was about you outgrowing a situation that was no longer meant for you. And the most powerful thing you can do after someone walks away from you, evolve. See, when a man leaves, he expects certain things. Maybe he expects you to chase. Maybe he expects you to beg. Maybe he expects you to be sitting around, stuck in the same place, waiting for him to come back. Because that's what happens in movies, right? That's what happens when people get comfortable thinking they can leave and return whenever they please. But let me tell you what really shakes a man to his core. Seeing the woman he left become someone he no longer recognizes. At first, he's unbothered. He thinks he made the right decision. He's moving on, doing his own thing. Maybe he even starts entertaining other people, thinking he upgraded. But then, something shifts. He stumbles across your picture. He hears about you from mutual friends. He sees you glowing in ways he never saw before. And suddenly, a thought creeps into his mind. How did I let her go? Because here's the thing about a good woman. When she heals, she doesn't just go back to who she was before. She becomes better, stronger, wiser. She takes the pain and turns it into power. She takes the heartbreak and turns it into hunger. Hunger to level up, to grow, to become the version of herself that she was always meant to be. And by the time he realizes what he lost, she's already out of reach. See, you don't evolve to make him regret. You don't level up to get revenge. You do it because you owe it to yourself. You do it because the best way to respond to disappointment, to rejection, to heartbreak, is to rise above it. Think about it. What hurts more? Seeing someone miserable over losing you, or seeing them thriving, happy, untouched by your absence? Exactly. That's why evolution is the best revenge, because when you glow differently, when you start achieving things you once only dreamed of, when you walk into a room with confidence, with grace, with self-worth so unshakable that no man's decision can break you, that's when you win. That's when you've truly moved on. And by the time he realizes his mistake, by the time he looks back and wonders if he should have stayed, you won't even be looking in his direction, because you'll be too busy evolving into everything he never thought you could be. A man only learns when he feels the loss. It's easy for a man to take a good woman for granted when she's always there, when she's the one checking in, making plans, showing up, pouring into him with love, patience, and loyalty. He gets used to it. He assumes it's a constant. He thinks, she's not going anywhere. And that's the mistake, because the moment she's gone, the moment that steady, unwavering presence disappears, the world starts to feel different, colder, quieter. At first, he might not notice. He's distracted. He's out living his life, thinking he made the right decision. Maybe he even believes he upgraded. Maybe he thinks you'll always be in the background, waiting, ready to pick up where things left off. But then, reality hits. One day he looks around and realizes something's missing. Not just anyone, but you. The way you used to light up his day. The way you knew how to comfort him when he didn't even have the words to explain what was wrong. The way you were always there, steady, reliable, loving him in ways he never truly understood until now. And here's the thing. He may try to replace you. He may jump into something new, thinking he can find what he lost in someone else, but he won't. Because there's a difference between a woman who's there out of convenience and a woman who was there because she truly loved him. And that difference? That's what makes the loss hit so hard. See, a man only learns when he feels the loss in his bones, when he's scrolling through old pictures, rereading old messages, thinking about how he used to have access to you, until he didn't. When he sees you out in the world, moving on, smiling, growing, becoming an even better version of yourself without him, that's when it hits him like a ton of bricks. And the most painful part? By the time he realizes it, by the time he truly understands what he lost, it's too late. Because a woman who knows her worth doesn't wait for a man to figure it out. She doesn't sit around hoping he'll wake up one day and see her value. No, she moves forward. She grows, she thrives. That's why they say, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Because some men only learn through absence. They only recognize love when they no longer have access to it. And when that moment of regret comes, when he finally understands that you were the best thing that ever happened to him, there's nothing he can do about it. Because a woman like you, once she's gone, she's gone.